everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the new DC Multiverse 6-inch scale Gotham City PD Batbot Rookie Collect and Connect figure from Mattel. Now the figures that are in this wave that you need to get in order to be able to complete the Batbot include the Reaper figure, the Batwing figure, Batman from the DC Rebirth storyline, Adam from the DC Legends of Tomorrow TV series, and then the We Are Robin Duke Thomas figure. Okay, so once you've gotten all the figures in the wave and have all the pieces, putting it together is pretty simple. The easiest way to do it is to first take this waist piece and make sure it's facing forward. You want the yellow striping to face forward, that's the utility belt. And then you can take this torso piece and just snap it in there. It should click right into place and fit nice and tight. Then take the legs and plug them in and just make sure you've got the left leg that goes in the left side and the right leg that goes in the right side. And you have to turn it a little bit, but it should pop in there pretty easily. And once you get them to pop in, they do fit nice and tight. Same with the arms. Make sure you get the right arm in the right socket and the left arm in the left socket. And again, once you get them to pop into place, they should stay in there pretty tight. And then finally, you just pop on the head. It attaches with a ball joint. And you should be able to pop that on pretty easily as well. Okay, and here's a look at the rookie figure fully assembled. Now once you have all the pieces put together, then you can take his pistol and stick it in his right hand. Now he will only hold the weapon in his right hand because his left hand is sculpted with a closed fist. And the plastic on the hand is pretty hard, so you may have to kind of finagle it a little bit, turn it to the side a little bit. It won't just go straight down in the hole. But once you get it in there, he does hold it nice and tight. He has a grip finger, so again, he will hold that pistol nice and tight. Now the pistol itself, it's done with just a black plastic, and then you have this metallic silver on the end of it. You've got a little handle up at the top. There's no trigger in the guard, and then you also have a little bit of silver here on the back of the pistol. And you can make out the bat symbol on his chest here on the sculpting. You can't remove this or anything. Now they've included a feature where you can take off this front chest plate and it reveals the Batman figure inside, the Jim Gordon Batman. Now it looks kind of funny when you have this helmeted head, but if you happen to have the Jim Gordon Batman figure that was released in the last wave, the King Shark wave, then you can pop this helmeted head off. And it should pop off pretty easily. Again, it's just attached with the ball joint. And then you can pop off the head on this figure as well. Again, it just attaches with the ball joint. And then you can stick this regular Batman head on top of the Collect and Connect figure, and it actually looks pretty good. So it looks like you can see Batman inside the armor. So for the rest of the figure, I think they've done a pretty good job with the sculpting detail, and you've got pretty solid paint applications. Looks pretty much like how the suit looked in the comic books. Now again, if you're not familiar, this is actually Jim Gordon who was wearing the bat suit and then put this mech suit on. So it's a Gotham City PD mech suit basically. So you've got like the sirens. I think these were like supposed to be sirens. You've got the red on the one side and blue on the other side. These little circles, and then again on the back, on this back piece. So I like that detailing. You've got the white striping here on the back, down here near his hands, again near his feet. So nice detailing there, and you've got the bat symbol that's just painted on the front here. The missile launchers are actually, they're sculpted into the figure. There's no articulation with them, and then the holes are actually, you've got a little bit of indentation, and then they're painted black, and then the outer portion is done with a more light silver, or dark silver I should say, color, but not quite black. And again, you've got the striping on the top of the missile launchers. And you've got the Gotham City PD logos painted on there. And they've used, throughout most of the figure, you've got this kind of blue plastic that looks somewhat metallic, not quite as metallic as the DC collectible version of this figure, which I'll give you a comparison of in just a minute, but looks pretty good for the most part. And then you've got the yellow striping here on the belt piece. Now this belt slash skirt piece is a rubber type material. It's not removable or anything. And then again, you've got some black throughout here on the hands and on the feet, the knee pads. So like I said, overall, I think they've done a pretty good job of capturing the detail. With the helmet, you've got these antenna pieces or ear pieces, whatever you want to call them, and they're done with a soft rubber type material. So they might come out of the packaging a little warped, but if you take a hairdryer to them, it should straighten out. They don't move or anything. They're just, again, done with a soft rubber. And then you've got this glossy black paint for the visor portion of the helmet, and then you've got the blue that matches the rest of the figure pretty well. And then you've got this, again, this kind of white striping here on the sides of the helmet. Okay, so this figure stands, if you count to the tips of his ears, about 9 3/4 inches tall. Okay, and here's a comparison with the DC collectible one and the DC Multiverse one. And I think both of these figures are pretty solid. Now the DC collectible one has more weight to it, and I do like the more metallic looking blue that they used on that one. But otherwise, I think, you know, both figures are pretty detailed and pretty accurate to how they appear in the comics. Now, you'll notice the midsection on the DC collectible one looks a little bit different than the midsection on the DC Multiverse version. I don't remember which one is more accurate, but overall, I think both companies have done a pretty good job with this figure. Here's a comparison with that Multiverse Jim Gordon Batman figure that again was released in the last King Shark wave. And then finally, here's a comparison with some other Bat-themed Multiverse figures. Now for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and the right. Now it does kind of brush up against the armor piece, that chest piece, so you know you can turn it about that much. And if you turn it too much, it might pop that chest piece off, so you might want to hold on to that chest piece when you're turning the head. But you still get pretty good movement there. Now it really doesn't have much in the way of up or down movement with this one. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder. Now they don't come up very much. These joints are kind of tight, and then you've got the missile launcher. So it will have a tendency when you kind of pull the arm up to pop the joint out. So just be wary of that. You do have a bicep swivel, and then you've got a single hinged elbow, so he can only bend his elbow about that much. You can rotate the arm. Now again, you've got the missile launcher, so you don't want to rotate it all the way around because you could snap these missile launchers off. So these are attached with a pretty thin piece of plastic. So again, I would just recommend caution with that. And then you have rotating wrists, but because of the armor piece, the way it comes over the wrist, you really can only turn it about that much. Now for the midsection, he does have an ab crunch type joint, so he can actually look back good there at the midsection, and he can crunch down about that much. He's got a waist swivel. And then the legs, you have those hinge joints, so he can do the splits pretty good. You can get the leg forward about that much, and you can do the leg back about that much. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got a single hinge knee, but he can actually bend his knee pretty good. And then you've got the hinges on the feet, so you've got up and down movement, but no pivot and no rotation, and no peg holes on the bottom of it. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I think this is a nice looking figure. I think if you're a fan of this particular mech suit, I think they've done a good job of capturing it from the comics. It's got solid paint applications. I like the fact they've given it the pistol. I also like the fact that you can take the head from the Jim Gordon Batman figure from the last wave and stick it on this figure and remove that chest plate so it looks like you can see Batman inside the armor. Articulation is pretty much average for what we see with the Multiverse line, but with this particular character, it doesn't bother me too much that he's not super agile, because I don't really think the mech suit was particularly, you know, super agile to begin with. So articulation overall, I think, is satisfactory for this particular character. Now the wave with this figure has started to hit shelves now. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. You can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you later.